Peji Chushin Medo Zang Ribalnishi Nasanje Shindu Midi Puwaye Drogananda Shinla Jiba Oyi Dang Guru Rana Mendala Kani Adayami.
Rinpoche said the mere I is a universal, which is a created thing. Therefore, it must arise and disintegrate moment to moment. Also, when the Buddha said, "At that time I was King Mandata," the I he was referring to was the mere I, not the specific I of the lifetime in which he became a Buddha. During a single life, it seems like there is just one I. What is the relationship between the mere I and the I as it appears during a single life? And 가상 rinpoche ngatsamdi chire chi
Matam Karsi.
알와 chi 가사 지당 가사 지랑 체라 열봐 치
Matam Chirivesi.
나참 치
Matam Chirive.
치
Chidan Chirase.
지랑 체라
Chidan Matam Chirivesi. Really?
봐 아니 디 치디 두체레스 두체
Mobilvesi.
뭐보레스
Really, Matam
두체
Mobil.
때면 두체로 봐 그래서 디 두체나 드니 기능 아까 계직이 기능 직보로 와
Really.
아니 드니 상계 좀 데기 데두가 킹 살은 뭐 요레스 송낭송아 아니 드니 이니 나티 상계기 나티 나참 요레
Matam Yuari.
나참디 그래서 상계베 세기 케브르 제뱅아 디마레스 상계
Aja Dumbe Chabar Chevanga.
라
Dumbaki.
덤버기
Dumba Chabar Chevanga.
덤버 케브르 제뱅아 마레
So.
디 데둥아 갸봉 알릉
인상 좀 된 데지 나텔라. 아니 좀 된 데지 나스나 찹질 주베 그 아직 옛날에 나랑 좀 나스나 해진기 나스나 해진기 나스나 해진기 껴왕아지 탐제라 찹질 준게
기왕아지
나치라 아스나 콜라 아니 껴왕아만에 드리오 디네 치만 들어와 인상 해진기 나스나 콜라 껴왕아지 탐제라 주바래 와 달 해진기 주징아 최디 해진기 주징아 최디 쳐봐도 쳐봐 인산 뒤쪽에 치마요 말이
기어치마 영어를 이네 디 세디라
다자 그 덤바기 아니 다자 그 덤바기 쳐봐도 쳐비 덤비 쳐봐도 쳐비 아니 초부 두고 뒤 쳐봐도 쳐비 아디 경험하여 말이
경모요
덤바기 아디 경험하여 말이 인자 덤방 아지만 가요 인자 나 뒤지 경험하려서 주로 녀서 텐투고
디
덤방 아당
덤뱅
덤베 최디 덤베 쳐봐도 쳐봐 그 쳐봐
이 덤뱅아 나참 치요로
덤베 쳐봐도 쳐봐 나참데 야 쳐가 마요 말이
야
같이 잘 봐.
이네 디 데둥아 가서 덤바 데둥아 갸봉 알릉 디 나티당 덤뱅아 가서 나참디
덤뱅 아점 스나 쳐봐야 말이 덤뱅 아점 쳐디 쳐봐도 좋아요 가서 쳐디 덤베 쳐봐도 쳐병 아점 스나 안 다자고 덤베 투지려면 되면 말이 덤베 쳐봐도 쳐봐
덤베 케바도 쳐
덤베 쳐봐도 쳐봐 쳐디 쳐봐도 쳐병 아점 스나 이네
케바도 마체나
덤뱅 아점 스나 덤뱅 아스나 제와 탑재
제가 탐질
잡지
잡지.
연방 아스나
nos any say deal ngatul nga chik trouble yo nang gitwa ngatu danda nga
말랑도 단디 내가더라 세디 개발의 제병 아지당 아니양 알안주 nga 아스나 겨왕아와 탐제를 잡질 주변 아치기니 요아래
niore chikti cd cable
개발의 제병 아치
chik cable matcheva
어디 잡아다만 겨왕아치 탐제를 잡질
탐지
주변
capture 두고 이니 드니 나참당 cd ngala drawa 카리카리요 drawa kasa relationship drawa
세디 개발의 제병 아삼대 아삼래 와 아삼래 와 덤바기 투지기 나데 덤방 아래 봐 저도 와
저도
덤베 투지기 때 다자고 덤베 개발의 제병 나데 덤방 아래 아 덤방 아이나야 제 디지털 잡지를 주고 말해 덤방 아스나 제 디지털 잡지를 말해 정확히 탐자
지란체라 여러분
제를 잡으면 덤방 아스나 나만은 디용 디네 치마 중에 같이 거래
나참디 이니 나참당 나 직보디
나잠당 아스나 야 잡아도 와 나잠선 나잠서야 된다 디기 직디 미유도 주비 미유들랑 나잠서야 와 미유가 제 나잠나 미바세바 지당 나잠스나 가사라랑 가 체디 쳐봐도 제가 나텔랑 나잠지당 저와 치마는 디온 디네 치마 둘이 대라양 나잠 지근이 이죠 지바용 거래 아예니 명 나잠 지바용 거래
니 가서 니
체디 쳐봐도 제가 나잠지당 저와 아지 탐제를 주미 잡지를 주변 나잠 지근이 용 거래 지바래
용 그래
나라 여반하신 나잠나 용 거래
니 가서 직 가서 나츠 케프로 마체베 nga di chiroba any say dinga chira yoruba chira
지체라고 쳐봐랑 말이지 그 잡지를 주마당 그러와 지체라고 쳐봤던지 말이
chira
나선 때문에 나서나 아마는 비용 디네 치마 중간 나체 그러와 나 테디 쳐봐도 제외 쳐봤어야 될 가서나 테디 쳐봐도 제외 나서야 가나 꼬치가 치마네 매와 테디 갤론디 쳐봐 그러와 갤론기 쳐봐도 쳐봐 초구두기 쳐봐도 제외 나한테 저와 치마를 와 말아
So the way it works here is that there's there is this general I, or it's an I which is a universal in the sense that it covers all of one's lifetimes, previous and future lifetimes. The sense of I, in which it covers all of those lifetimes. So, when the Buddha said, "At that time I was King Mandata," referring to a lifetime before he appeared as the supreme emanation body and demonstrated all of the deeds of entering into the path and displayed his achievement of awakening and so forth, and teaching the Dharma, those things. But so the teacher, that's the Buddha, during that lifetime, you wouldn't say that the I of that. The I of specified as the I of the teacher when he was the Buddha as the teacher in that lifetime. You wouldn't say that was that he was referring to that I when he was referring to the himself in that previous lifetime. Rather, he was referring to the I in the sense that's not specified with respect to a specific lifetime, but rather this this general I, which covers all of the different instances of I. So then in terms of the question of the mere I, which is what is the observed object when one apprehends the I, now, there's again two forms of that. There's the mere I as it's specified with respect to say, for example, the current lifetime in which one is living, and that mere I, or the I in general, or the I specified in relationship to a specific lifetime, that I hasn't come from some other lifetime and doesn't go into some future lifetime. Rather, it's the I in the general pervasive sense of the I as it covers basically all of the various lifetimes that a person inhabits, that a person undergoes. So, therefore, you can say with respect to the I alone that that you have to distinguish between the I in the sense of this pervasive I, which covers all lives, and then the I as it's specified with respect to a particular lifetime. And then also the same thing applies to the notion of the mere I. One can speak of that in that sort of sense as a universal that covers all of the different lives, as well as then with respect to a specific lifetime. So then we have to recognize then the way in which the I is specified with respect to ways in which the I is, one would say, is specified with respect to a particular lifetime. So if, like we were just saying, the I of the teacher when he appeared in the form of that supreme emanation body and performed all of the deeds of achieving awakening, teaching, turning the will of the Dharma, and so forth. The I of the teacher at that time was not. That's specified with respect to that specific period of time. That I isn't identical with the I that he was when he was the king in the previous life. Rather, each of those is specific to a particular lifetime, whereas this universal, the I as a universal, is that which pervades through all of these different instantiations of the I.
Oh yeah.
Is that okay? Yeah. Ngatsam jirebe. Ngatsam.
Ngatam se jira ji shashogore. Lejing ngatam de jira ngatam shashogorwa. Lejing ngatam de ngatam rewade. Wa di chera shashogorwa.
Jichera yore.
Atene shashogore.
Ani di duchere.
Duchere ngatam ngairwa.
Jitsang kishing jikpa. Kijik. So yes, these all of the different forms of the I, whether one's talking about any particular specific I, the I as it exists within a particular lifetime, or this this I as a universal, that is a thing which pervades all of the particular instantiations of it or forms of it. In both cases, we're talking about created things, or sometimes these are called compounded, or what's the other one? Conditioned things, things that are created, and everything that's created is necessarily impermanent and arises and disintegrates moment to moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, all phenomena exist conventionally as merely designated by thought. In this statement, what role does the basis of designation play within that whole reality? And how is the existence of the basis of designation explained? Chutamche taniduyos sunaswa. Any chutamche dokpe taksam res sunangso. Any dini dakshi krang dokpe taksam re. Dakshi krang dokpe taksam re. Dini dakshi krang dokpe tana. Dini dokpe taksam yana. Dini Mendus. So when I translated that into Tibetan, I said, I just said the first part, but then I said, how is the existence of the basis of designation explained? I said, how could it be that there is really a basis of designation? Wouldn't it just be completely non-existent if it's merely designated by thought?
Tope tazam da tanya du yaba ka gyo mare. Rwa taji shuwa nashing nang zam digi de tope tazam re de nga de taji shuwa imba. Ani rashi ji chuwa ka bi shu du ani da nga ji liwa de nga de ming zam tope tazam jire si. Yinzang tope tazam yinzang ani te tope tazam digi Tanya do yaba, leso baba dan, do nyongwa dan, ani didu nyongwabo, sadunla sowe chawa chebabo, cheba tela, Tanya bi tsama neba meba. Tenzi ki, nga digi, ani tela, kansa, nga se, en jikdenba la chaba. Tendang jawi tsama neba meba yinzang, ani da sha chokwa re.
So here it says, yes, this is true that everything is merely designated by thought. It only exists conventionally, but that doesn't entail that it's non-existent. So, for example, when we were talking about the I as merely appearing as a mere appearance. After you've negated the intrinsic existence or intrinsic existence of the I, or the I as something which exists intrinsically, the negation of that intrinsic existence does not entail the non-existence of the I. Rather, as sort of what's left over after this negation has occurred, you have this mere appearance of the I, which is purely conventionally existent, and which is merely designated by thought. So the fact that the thing is designated by thought also the fact that the I or other things are merely designated by thought also serves as a basis for their operating in relationships such that for the I, for example, can create action, engage in activities, create karma, and accumulate actions in that way, and then also experience the results of those actions in those kinds of relationships. So this I is merely designated by thought or only existing conventionally, it nevertheless is able to operate within conventional relationships. The way we can establish that is because it's commonly accepted in the world that the I is what does things, it performs activities, and it experiences the results of activities. So that's one criterion for the conventional existence of the I. Then, likewise, it's not that conventional existence of the I is not contradicted by conventional valid reasoning. When one investigates the I by means of conventional valid knowledge, one doesn't negate this mere conventional existence of the I. And then finally, that mere existence of the I is also not contradicted by the valid knowledge deriving from an investigation of the nature of reality, which we were talking about in the sense of understanding the fact that things don't exist as they appear as being real, having the kind of intrinsic existence that they appear as having.
Oh yeah, that day, Rajiva Major Kangala, Tobati Yadire. Toba Tazamina, and Toba Mingi Pataba Zamina, and Jundejo Merubati. Toba Tazamin, Rangitani Maduna, Mingi Toba Tazam, and Toba Tazamla, and the Jundeso Chachi Mirumate, that Tobate to the Oma Menja Kangaliore. In that, any Kase. Rangitani to Jundeso Miruma Tone, and Jundeso Rangitani Maduna, Jundeso Miruma Tonwani, Jundeso Miruma Mawani, Rashi Tombi to get tattoo pala, nature tattoo but Simba, Chani Sungari. Rashi Tombi to get tattoo pala, nature tattoo but Simbari. Rashi Tombi to get tattoo by the Carrera, Rangitani Maduba. Tobata was a Mayan, but the looking when a Yena, and you dare not just a Jamatoba. Rati Rashi Tombi to get tattoo bala, and nature tattoo the Simbares. Rangitani Maduna, Judah Rongumares La Lesson you will tell you. Rangitani Jundo Rangitani Jundo Jundas of Mirun Mawani. Rashi Tombi to get tattoo bala, nature tattoo but Simba, In the Rashi Tombi to get tattoo bate, and a top at Tabasamimba. Toba Tazan in battery. That Toba Tazanina, and it are Jundas and Mirun say you're going to get tattoo bala, nature tattoo but Simbares.
Nature tattoo, nature tattoo, Simbares.
Rashi Tombi to get tattoo in Bala, Rashi Tombi, nature tattoo the Simbares.
Nature tattoo
Zimbare.
to Zimbare,
Rangi Tani Tuna, Jundas and Mirunga Tawat.
Rangipula Soba.
Jundas and Mirunga.
You did
Sudan Tebule, Savatan Chabala, Chajela Soba, Mirunga Zimbate, Rashi Tombi to get tattoo bala, nature tattoo Zimbares.
that you talked about. So this sort of doubt about the ability to establish relationships between things, and especially the ability to establish, say, the relationship between I as a creator of karma and the I as the experiencer of karma. If the I is reduced to being a mere name, which is designated upon something by thought, that kind of the inability to accept this proposition that the I is or other phenomena are mere names which are designated by thought, and especially the inability to establish relationships like cause and effect with things only existing in that way. This sort of concern is what basically prevents everyone from the Swatantrika Madhyamika school downwards from accepting the prasangika position that things are merely established, merely designated by thought. So the way they think is that if things are not established by means of their own intrinsic identity, that is, if things like the I as an actor in a relationship, the I as the experiencer of the effects of the action that the I performed, if these all are not established by means of their own intrinsic identity, then there's no way to establish the relationship between them. The different parts of the relationship have to have some kind of intrinsic identity, or they have to have that kind of identity. And then also the relationship among them also has to have a kind of intrinsic nature. And so then it's explained in the Lecce Nyingpo, the Essence of Good Explanations, that this holding this position that in order to establish the relationships between things, the existence of things first of all, and then functional relationships among things, you have to have, things must possess some kind of intrinsic identity. This is the sort of ultimate, holding that sort of position is the ultimate thing that prevents one from understanding the emptiness, the emptiness of things being empty of having intrinsic existence.
Oh yeah.
What is the difference between designation by thought and designation by name, being designated with a name? The Tokpe Tak Samdang, Tokpe Tak Patang, Ming Takpa, Kepar Yorpes.
Mingi Taba.
Mingi Tak Patang, Tokpe Takpa, Kepar Yorpes.
Tobetas Mingi Tawi, Bechaba, Tanta Chaba Yomari, Tobetas and Mingi Tas of Yungore. Tobetas and Mingi Tapas Yungore. Mingi Tavas.
Mingi Tak, Ming Tak, Tokpe
Mingi Tapatang, Tobetawa.
Takpa so the chip
Taba, Pa Tapas.
Ha Takpa. Chip chicken.
Mingi Taba, the Tobetawa Chipper.
Tapore. So no, there's no substantial difference between, in the intention there is the same, that things being designated by thought or things being designated by names has the same fundamental intent.
That has you the torture. Rabba Gatomba Naya, Jumata was Sha Mebate, Kachiku, the Dante Machin Sasson. Shan Yamsha to you put out Chibi, Tato to Shane. Any Tawa Jamba Maimba Che. Tawa Tana Party, Yamsha to, and the Tawa one and put out Tato to Shane, Jamba Maimba. And this semi them, some condo, some the condo and Mizimba. And this some color Madroba. And it's a cheap, but some Dambo Yebi too. And I tell a judge, Gurumbo, Nanny. Tender with some teaching my temple, but tell a lana, 아니 릴라 소비 나와남 나 사대수 차와식 민바 아니 자전남 두아삼모신도 아니 장매도 차와 안 차와지 연구 아래스 대다와디 소람나 샤바케 아니 주마신도 샤와 말해 다다지 진짜로와.
So we ended last session by this section here where it's talking about when one's in meditative concentrated meditative equipoise. If one is maintaining that meditative concentration, which is in a way which is not placed upon the, placing the mind, situating the mind upon the view which has exactly determined the way things are. But on the other hand, one's mind is not holding anything in particular, is not simkandiang mitzimba. Simkandiang mitzimba.
샘데 강도야 미츠바 샘데 강디 치료그 셴바 강인 바라 샘제지보 콜라는네와
simkrang tsechikba.
샘코랑을 상었다니.
Ale. So instead, the mind in this context, the mind is not apprehending any other object at all. It's not observing any other kind of object, but rather it's focused on itself. The mind is holding itself, and in a single-pointed way, just focused upon the mind itself. And one has accomplished this sort of single-pointed focus, which is holding the mind alone without not observing anything else. And you have this stable, and by the force of that, you arise out of that, and then you observe mountains and other things appear. You see there are appearances of mountains and so forth, which previously had appeared very solid, but now they appear like a rainbow, or they appear something like a very thin sort of smoke, which is without any kind of special luster. And this sort of appearance is not the appearing of the things like an illusion, like a magical illusion, which is explained in the scriptures. So this is merely this is an appearance of obstructing things as this is an observance of visible forms as being empty of coarse kind of obstructability. That is, it's observing them, or they're appearing as if they were empty of gross obstructability. But these sorts of appearances are not the appearance of these things as being empty of being established by means of their own intrinsic nature. So therefore, this absence of obstructive things, this sort of absence of solidity, things appear solid or obstructive things appearing to one as if they were empty of or don't have any solidity. This is absolutely not the meaning of things being empty of intrinsic existence. It's unsuitable to take them and take that sort of appearance in the sense of being empty of intrinsic existence.
다 대답 멤버 대답 많이나 하시다 토제 공도 샤바 나시 토제 사대지 매바 나시 좀 베텐 미루마 대답 많이 봐 아니 공도 가서 그래 아리라 소에 나와나 토제 사대지 차와 많이 봐 자전 신도 나와도 동바 얘기 되이나 자전 체시 수비 체 된다 왜 자전의 체시 수위체 된지 끼미루가 당 고동바이나 아니 콜로라 차와 인장 된지 끼미루가 당 토사 체시 수위체 때문에 또베 시와 끼미루가 그 견도 주그래.
So if that if that was not the case, if it was the case that seeing solid things, seeing obstructive forms, visible forms which are obstructive, physical objects, effectively it's talking about solid physical objects, as if they were not solid, as if they lacked solidity but were more like rainbows or some kind of vaporous smoke or something like that. Then if that was the case, then at the time that one apprehended a substratum like a rainbow, a thing like a rainbow, as a substratum, it would be one would not give rise to the misapprehension that the thing is real. And on the other hand, also, if one at the time one had apprehended a substratum like an obstructive thing, when one is apprehending a solid object, one could not give rise to the view, understanding, one could not give rise to an awareness which understands that that thing is is devoid of being real in the way that it appears.
Oh yeah, 근데 이제 여기 다도도想把양바 마인바 심 칸도야 미심바 심그 요 칸야 미심바 아니 심 제주바 에 제주바 담보 좀 예바 되라 아니 띵게 담보 예바 추에 충가 마보야 이 말이 대리 내가서 될 때는 아니 뒤 내가서 차단 그죠 차단해서 파시 남이야시 이 차단 파시 남이라서 와시 그냥 아니 다 semla denando devinyamdo jedi kalaya ane dewa cheba che jeni dendre la ya ane yang karasana toba dinge ji la so wa dewa cheba che la jo chusa ma bo yo re inzan di re go kare 차단 가니 ane sem je ji ba ne wa inzan ne go 차단 shi wa la denem ji wa re ma do ane je sem je ji ba di ane ba dang so na 아니 양이라 차다게 되게 와인지 이 차쳐라 이제 텐데라 텐데심 제주발라 띵게진도 추와당 아니 응아그 도바 쳐바지 텐데를 충게만 뭐요래
So thus this sort of single-pointed concentration focusing on the mind that's mentioned here, even if one accomplishes this sort of meditative absorption on the mind, single-pointedly focused on the mind without observing or apprehending any objects outside of the mind, and you develop this such that it's single-pointed, it has very stable, and you accomplish a sort of strong power by doing this. Nevertheless, and there are many people who have done this and have misconstrued what they've accomplished by doing this, because when one accomplishes this, temporarily one's attachment and anger will be pacified. A lot of the mind's deviating and wandering in the direction of external objects is also pacified temporarily. And also, as a byproduct of this, it can give rise to experiences of bliss and special kinds of sensations and feelings connected with this sort of meditative concentration. But and then there's the same thing applies to the practice of mantra as well. That sort of practice can give rise to these same kinds of things, same sorts of experiences in meditation. However, if it's merely that, if it's left at that, then when one arises out of the meditation session, desire and attachment, hatred and so forth are liable to arise again, and then all sorts of misconceptions and errors can occur. And it seems that there have been many people who have fallen into this kind of error, thinking that it's more than it is.
Oh yeah, that you were top color than a Jumatabu Chachunga, that Conto the Chatu that Dana, but Jumatabu Chatu Dana in Bache. That demarch and a top color than a Jumatabu Chatu La Nale. Tambo Jumatabu, now Jumatabu Chatu Gizuni. When I cheddar chana, Jumitan Chijamaloba Chanamna, Jumitan Kandichagre is a tap bedding at Tambo Shani. Bena Jumitalang Migishiva Tongatang. Now that Jitalang Mebadi, Yishijing Evala Tene. And it 아니 가서래 미셸라 주메달란도 나와데 줌밤 준비 나왕에 왔게와데 벨라샤네 오다 가상아도 시와나세 전에 가서래 줌바라바 와 줌바라바 어테벨라 하샤니 디 데라카상 얘기 대사송아 달란도 통화 달란 책임바 통게 아니 달란도 나 통장 달란 마인바 년게 니샤고와 가상 어때나시 전에 유미 달란 메기 셰와 통화당 나와다지 달란 메바 이시징에 와라 때네 달란도 나와데 아니 유미 대시 달란도 나장 아니 달란게 동바 인장 태난다 태동고 초바 주고 인장 아니 그 준비 나방에 와게바데 베라샤바레.
So this next point is that the question is with respect to the method by which one is able to give rise to the what sort of method one has to rely upon in order to give rise to this appearance, which is like a magical illusion. To understand this, that has multiple subdivisions and starts off with the explanation of the example. And we've already discussed this previously, but it says that, in how is it that one is to give rise to the understanding the meaning of the magical illusion, which is unmistaken. How is one to unmistakenly give rise to this, the understanding of the meaning of the magical illusion? How does one do that? And then it says, for example, the answer is, for example, just as when someone who sees with their vision a horse and elephant, which are magical illusions, and then on the other hand, they understand intellectually that these are not an actual horse, an actual elephant. Not that the horse and the elephant do not exist as they appear. That is, they're not actual, real horses and elephants. And then once in dependence upon that, that ascertainment, or this, having that kind of certainty, intellectual certainty, that the thing that you're seeing, it appears to your vision as if it's an actual horse, an actual, a real elephant. But because you've already understood intellectually that these appearances are not real elephants and horses, you know that that appearance is not an actual horse and elephant. So just in dependence on that kind of certainty that you've acquired intellectually, when the horse and the elephant appear, then when they appear to you visually, you give rise to a certainty that that appearance is illusory or spurious. Spurious, again, meaning something that it doesn't exist in the way it appears.
Oh, yeah. That never give a tasting to that Bella, you were tell her, said that Tanya Biloni, Tanya Biloni, so Twitchy Chazunis. They said that Tanya Biloni, Twitchy Chazu. That Bella can take any Kansala Sova, Tanya Bishavala. You Kansala Sova, Tanya Bishavala, and the Kansa you do me but now. Kansa Tanya Bishavala now. Now what Tenny Rango oil to be Rashi Tomba. Kansa Tanya Bishavala now what Tenny and the Rango oil to be Rashi Tomba, receiving never near a dennis. Now what I'm receiving never near a dennis. Kansa de Jumatabu, Zumbarnavi never give you know. Toma Kansa Tanya Bishavala now. Now what? Then any Tanya Bishavala now we Kansa Tini, Rango oil to be Rashi Tombang, receiving never. Nila Dennis. Any Kansa Jumakaris Kansa, any Rashinji Dongyang, any Rashinji Chua, Rashinji Chuang, Dongyang, any Rashinji Chua Navi, and an Andon Jumam, Zumbata now our jiggy. So, in the receipt any Kansa Tanya below down, any Kasa, the Shinizo in Bikajamarity. Receipt Tanya below down, any Nizo said the memory. Receipt Tanya below down, receipt Nizo in Bikajama in Bache. Receipt Tanya below in, receipt in, Nizo in Bikajama in Bache.
Rixicron,
receipt Demeto Biloti, Tendam Jerry Lorava, Tanya Jerry Lomarava.
Tiny Jabby.
And the countries over there, Kansa Tanya to Shevala into Meba now a chick. Now what tongue? Tender now you Kansa Tini Rangung all to the Rashi Tomba, and it receiving never Nila Dene. And it is Jela, and it Kansa de Rashi to Nayang, Rashi to a Tomaki, and it Jumatabuki, and it never degree.
Rixicron, Tanya below Mare, Carisana, Dunam
Tanya below down, Tenanja Locarava, what did it? Tanya Jajic Sound Mari.
So then the next passage says that then with respect to this, it's necessary the way in which this appears such that two things appear in combination simultaneously at the same time. And the two things here are the awareness that arises out of a rational investigation of the nature of reality. This short for this is a rational awareness. That's an abbreviation of an awareness which arises from a rational investigation of the nature of reality. So that's the one kind of awareness, and then the other is a conventional cognition. Those two have to be combined at a single time and appear in a way such that they're combined at a single time. The way this works is that, so if we take a person, etc., a person as an object, and other objects such as a person, these unquestionably appear to conventional awareness. The person, without any question, indubitably appears to conventional awareness. And then also, after one has done this kind of investigation of the ultimate status of the person by means of the analysis that we've described previously, then one has accomplished certainty, has a definite ascertainment of the way the thing actually exists by means of this, and that awareness of that through that sort of awareness that derives from that rational investigation. So the rational investigation into the nature of reality has a definite ascertainment, certainty that the person is empty of it being having a nature which is established by means of its own intrinsic existence. So the person is devoid of having some sort of intrinsic existence which is established by means of its own character, is another way to translate that. So those two have to be in dependence on both of those, the unquestionable appearance of the thing to this conventional awareness, and then the certainty that one has that the thing is devoid of intrinsic existence, which has been achieved through a rational investigation of the nature of reality. Then the person that one is, that appears to one, one gives rise to certainty that the person is appearing as like an illusion, or is appearing in a spurious as a spurious thing, a thing that doesn't exist as it appears.
Oh yeah. Teenagers. Kasara so wa tanya bi shewala nyemedo nawatang. Kasa deyi ani rango ngoye tuwe rashi ji to bi rishi ji ngewa nila tene ana kasa jumatago jumatabe ngewa keba teenagers. Nyamsha to chenzinji mikba mikde nuzamya meba. Dan nyamsha ki nega so 천진지 밑에 세리가나 천진 된증함 된증태기 밑에 안에 강 준지 된주 까대 도자면 매비 안에 된주 까 잠지 안에 매가 태잠마도 나와 가야 매차가 난가다비 돈이 도장 까비 난가다비 돈이 관바 난가다보 세리가나 안에 가차 토베를 자 까잠 되라 안에 난가 줘봐나시 아니 가자 된주 까잠지 메가 짬 아니 유도 생게 대라제 주도는 가더라 안냐자 나가다 왜 돈이 있으거라 나가다 왜 돈이 고바 내도 소나스 아니 뒤제라 아니 냠샤 텔라라네 타중아도 여기 주원 아시잖아요 냠샤 텔라라네 아니 제도도 유낭 차와라 때나 유나 차와라 때나 요지 나와 차다나 아니 라신지 또양 아니 라신지 주와 좀 맞다고 제도도 주마다에 동바 차를 그봐 하고서 디 내라 냠샤나가 다에 동바당 제도 아니 제도 주마다에 가서 나가 동는 제도 주마다에 단중이 고민에 탑시 손도 들어와이 자사집에 바로 들어와서 가서 신경봐 당부 냠샤나가 다에 동이 디제라 제도 주마다에 동바니 고민
탑시 송도
아니 고민 아니 탑시 송디
탑시 송
탑다 셔럽 송도 들어와
탑단 셔럽 송도 들어와 이 탑카리 so here then so because by means of this crucial point indicates the way in which things appear as empty. Things being empty appear as like magical illusions, and the way in which this arises is that first in meditative equipoise, in a meditative concentration state, in meditation, one meditates or develops the understanding of emptiness, which is like space. Just as space is devoid of any obstruction, any kind of thing that obstructs. Similarly, this meditative concentration on emptiness, which is like space, space-like emptiness, there's not even there's not even the single atom of intrinsic existence, because the sort of source of holding things as existing as existing as real in the way that they appear. The focal points which give rise to that apprehension of things as being as having that kind of reality which they don't, real existence that they don't have, has been completely eliminated through in the meditation, such that just the emptiness, which is like space, which is itself a simple negation of the intrinsic existence of the object that one has investigated, has meditated upon. That being established, when within one's meditative concentration, one gets to that key point, has arrived at that key point that even a single atom of intrinsic existence has been eliminated within the context of that meditation. Then when one arises out of that state, that meditative state, and one looks at the way in which objects appear, observes the dawning of the appearance of the object, and then in that post-meditative state, they appear to one as being empty, such that they are like magical illusions.
Oh yeah, that nando jumata wo komne ani jedo do ani jumata be toni to be lo ti simbi kwane ani chanju ku samda nije la so wa tabji cho khang da khang kwa ba so wa o ani tabji sundu ji kwane yo de ala sungo ro o 가세 남자한테 또 돈이 단 제도 주마다 왜 돈바니 komne 탑시 송도 제벨람 자사집에 바로 들어와 아니 탑시 송지 거네 아니 자사지 제가 치료를 넣어 아주 쓴 거 그래서 자주 시스템다 돈이 더비 주마다에 돈이 더비 셔럽 티 심비 거네 아니 탑지 자주 그 삼다 인제 공부하서 와
남카타비 돈이
양산 나가다비 단체진 봐 가자 가슴지매 가자 양산 나가자
가슴지매
제 텔레 람비 제도도 남도 주마다부터 해지 봐
난 기면 타고
다시 주반 나양 아니 라신 집에 동에 주마도
남카타부 토니티 셔랍 요라와
돈이도 싫어요.
토니도 셔라 데니 낭고 기무타부 디 탑기차 요라와
탑지체 지체라 낭돈 주마다부 또 돈이 또 셰럽티 심비 고네 인제 고마 장주고 있으면 고마 다 탑지차로
So then the way when one in the meditative equipoise or meditative absorption on which is on emptiness, which is like space, that's the simple negation, mere negation of the that which is to be negated, the object of negation, which is intrinsic existence. And once one's accomplished that, through cultivating meditative understanding of the absence of intrinsic existence, then when one arises out of that meditative state, when phenomena appear to one, they appear as if they existed with intrinsic existence. They have that sort of appearance, but because one has already ascertained that they are devoid of intrinsic existence, one has that knowledge, certainty, that they don't possess the kind of they don't possess intrinsic existence as in the way that they appear. That they're like magical illusions in that they appear to be real, but one knows already has certainty that they're not real in the way that they appear. So they're like magical illusions in that way, and so that combination of appearance and emptiness in this post-meditative state enables one to having that awareness in the post-meditative state. Then within that sort of understanding, one develops bodhicitta, one engages in virtuous activities, one does all of the different kinds of practices that a bodhisattva does. And those doing them in that way then is called the integration, or the combination of wisdom and method, interrelating them such that they're combined into a pair.
Oh yeah, that didn't teach you. Tena Jumada Tela baby, Riba Suba Mugowa. That Tana Begi, Aniaga, Rashim of Tana Bawa, Riba Tele Sutu, and Jumatana Putana Bog, Riba Kokumaris. Carres and Tishindu, Chernamla, Cherna Rangung Oil Truba, Yeme Chibi, Riba Mandu Jabana, Rangung Oil Trubam. Rashinji Truba, Yeme Chebi Ribe, Mando Jabana, Ani Riba take Rashinji Truba Kiki. Ani Rashinji Mebalang was Shutapo Chebi Jesu, Ani Nawa Shawa, Ti Jesu, Rashin Batobe Jesu, Tataji Jeto to Shawa Nashin Chen Jesu, Ani Nawa Shawa Latana, Ani Dongjang, Rashinji Trua, Dangjang, and the Rashinji Trua, Jumatabo Charare. Kolei, Sutu Guyo Maris. Jesu, Nawa Shawa, Nawa Khan Shawa Tamje, and the Rashinji Tombang, never take Lodik, Rashinji Dongjang, and the Rashinji Trua Nawa. Jumatabo Chawa Yinji. Jumata Tomba lost the Tana Besu Metal. So
thus, that being the case, then there's no need for any separate way of establishing things to be like magical illusions. There's no additional kind of reasoning that one needs to employ to establish things as like magical illusions. And then the text here says, therefore, like that, or just like that. After one has extensively investigated with reasoning, the reason which analyzes phenomena as to whether or not they exist such that they're established by means of their own intrinsic nature. After one's done this to a great extent, then, and having done that, one has an extremely powerful certainty with respect to the absence of intrinsic existence of things. After that, whenever one looks towards the way in which appearances arise for one, they appear as if they were magical illusions. That is, here again, magical illusions, they're like magical illusions in that they, if someone knows that a magical illusion is not the real thing, then even though it appears to them as if it was the real thing, they know that it's not the real thing, so they're not misled by the appearance. So similarly, once one has determined that all phenomena are devoid of intrinsic existence, then even though they appear to one in this post-meditative state, or after one has done this kind of analysis determining that they're devoid of intrinsic existence, even though they appear to you as if they had intrinsic existence, you have this strong conviction, you're certain that they're without any intrinsic existence, and therefore they appear to you like as if they were similar to magical illusions. But apart from that, there's no other a separate way of establishing emptiness which is like a magical illusion. Things being empty such that they're like magical illusions.
Oh yeah. That is on should I be just now shower than like you might have shower in cheese. You might have Thomas lost stand up and milk. That you might have be Jeto Queen Chesunis. That don't buy it to be Yamsha Lambi Jeto Nagaso. And then Yamsaki Nagaso, Tombani, also to Tombani Tala Pop. Then I Tombani Kitawa take it, Zim, my area, one, and Chitanago, Kandichin Nandin Danayang, and this Kunzo Chinangi, and Kunzo Kucho, Kandichin Nanayang, the Mamma was signing. The look now at the Mashawachi, that the Kunzo Namjanji. Yet the Dendu Nangiore, Dendu Nanda Nangireti, Ani oh Castle, Yamsaki, Nayagaso, Tawa Tela Papi, Tony Tegi, Zi Simba China. Ani Jedoku Nagaso, Gawakandi Banayang, and the tea Simba Belgrade, that's Ungari. Tena. Chatan Goa Soji, Jejola Juba Nayang, or Jedoku Nagaso, Chatan, Goa Jabala Sovi, Jejola Juba Nayang, Nara Shebi, Nevi Simba, Nara Tony Tela Papaki, never take it Simba. Tony Tem Tom Matoa Inayang, and a range, and a casore, Kaze, Lola Tony go Kazuji and a Koa take it Simba. Menaya and Rashi Tomba Yin Yambachiki, and Lotiniji Simba China, and that Casorian, Payshayava. Jebi, Nevi Simba China, Tedala, Shube, that down you get our Simba China, and it Jumata Chagri, Kola, Tawati, Tony Simbarava, 다 치다나 그 뭐지 차지 가라 콜라 된주고 나와 찰 거래.
이렇게 나와 잘
근데 막 군족이 나와 강찬에 된주 맞춰와 요 말했어.
이런 거 참.
뭐 섬정 주지. 군조 남정 그 세와 군조 남정 그 안에 세와 지라 된주 많은 거요 말해. 아니 슈베 주마 아니 된주 나와 인상 아니 나라 라신 매봐. 된주 나양 아니 가서 라신이 똥봐. 라신이 똥장 아니 된주 나와 주마다고. 차와라 랍디 팅 안에 아니 저기 춘삼께 내가서 안에 차당 꼬와라서 춘삼께 내가 안에 그저다 차고래 전에 송한 말.
시즌바잖아. 시즌
당연히 돈이 전에 되게 쑥티 심바.
슈키츠.
되게 쑥티 그와디 디 심디 쑥티 심바.
슈키티 심비. So then, that being so, then whenever one engages in the practices which pertain to the practical side of the path, like doing prostration, circumambulation, and so forth, whenever one engages in those, if one has ascertained already the absence of intrinsic existence, that is, by doing an investigation of the nature of reality, if one has first done that and has come to some kind of ascertainment that things are devoid of intrinsic existence, that sort of ascertainment, even if it's not like a direct realization of emptiness or something like that, but rather is just some kind of understanding of the absence of intrinsic existence of things. From that basic level of understanding all the way up to a direct realization of the emptiness or absence of intrinsic existence of things, one can take that and apply it to the practical things that one does, such as all of the method side of the path, and then likewise in the period when one is not formally meditating on emptiness or other things like that, when one is in between sessions of meditation, when one is doing prostrations, circumambulation, etc., one should apply the sort of ascertainment. Your practices should be sort of infused with the certainty that you've achieved from the prior investigation and analysis of the way things are. And then by engaging in the practices with that sort of understanding, then one does them in a way that is again integrating method and wisdom. Even now here we have to qualify that for sentient beings, that's ordinary sentient beings. In all cases, for ordinary sentient beings, everything appears as if it was established as real. All things will appear to us, do appear to us, and will appear to us as if they existed by means of their own intrinsic nature. But once one has done this kind of investigation of reality and come to a certainty that they don't exist as they appear, that is, that although they appear to be intrinsically existent, they don't exist that way, then once one has that kind of certainty, when one applies that to the practical sides of the path and the things that one does in between sessions of meditation, if you do it that way, when you engage in those things, those practices, one is training oneself. One trains oneself in the appearance, the arising of things as like magical illusions. One is developing that sort of understanding of things, and that being so, then it's within that sort of condition that one should engage in those kinds of practices.
Oh yeah, that 공도 샤바 나신 아니 좀 가서 냠샤라 담배 제도도 저 나신 전에다 동바땡라 바비 제서 제조되다 나도 아니 가서래 나도 니서라 나와대라 겁나 광밤强나 아니 시디딩도 따와 찬점지 아니 지장 아니 주마신도 차라지 온 그래 스테이지를 주마샤 따와 찬점지장 아니 라신지 동라 아니 라신지 주바 나양 라신지 주 마주바 아니 주바 차와지 온 그래 스테라 차나 따와 찬점지장 주마신도 차와지 온 그래.
So therefore, if you train yourself this way, that is, if you've trained yourself in this method of coming to have things appear as like magical illusions, which is again this combination of appearance and emptiness. The two, appearance and emptiness, are combined together. The two are combined together in a single appearance here. That when they appear, things appear to be intrinsically existent, but you know that they're actually empty of intrinsic existence. So that appearance as being real, and the understanding that they're empty of that kind of reality of existing as they appear, of having that kind of intrinsic existence, is combined into a single thing. And training oneself in that that knowledge of the combination of appearance and emptiness is such. If one does that, then by simply remembering the view, you'll be able to have these things appear to one as if they were magical illusions.
Oh yeah. 다 나와 주마다 봉내와 처비 당화라 수미에 나네. 담보 나도 니조랑 내와 장괴외. 나도 니조랑 내와 장괴외. 내라 안에 동바 장수되라. 다 내와 주마다 내와 추루 아니 콧대와 전화서 콧대와 주기나 다 가르쳐서는 내라 동바라 내와 장고바 여인장 나를 셔바다 리비 가자 지레바를 차도 줄라 다 가자 가르비 가자 가르래선 라신지 주와 다 가상 알아서 얘게 시자와를 숨바 나신 셀라 말레바기 셀라 말레바 여바 생 칸라야 라 말레바 생 칸라야 마데바기 오데 다 같이 지라잖아요 같이 지레바 차도 줄라 텐다와 디다 마다오 가사다오 아니 란주기 마르베 치달 드로타바 란주기 마르바디 마데 샹칸라야 풍볼라서바 샹칸라야 라말레밤 안 마데바기 아니 라와시 아니 다카사에 같이 세 손바나시자니 오다 드로타바남 레바삼라 마르베기 아니 라신 드로타바나 레바삼라 아니 마르방외신 마르바기 드로타상외신 거라 외신 바차 야.
So then there's in terms of the instruction on how to seek seek certainty with respect to this things being like a magical illusion. First, one has to, since it's necessary to produce certainty, to generate certainty with regard to both appearance and emptiness. First, one has to train oneself. One has to train oneself in the empty side of this appearance and emptiness appearance. So, with respect to that, first, how it is that one trains oneself in emptiness, and then the text says here, if one states the method for seeking this sort of certainty such that it's easily understood, just as we've explained previously, First, one has to engage in causing and developing an appearance of developing an understanding of the universal of the object of negation that is to be negated by reasoning. Here, this universal is the a simple intrinsic existence, as we've discussed previously. Intrinsic existence itself as a universal. And this was discussed above in the passage from the 400 verses of Aryadeva, where he describes the notion of something not depending upon something else. The idea that a thing could exist such that it does not depend upon something else. That autonomy or having the quality of autonomy such that it does not depend upon something else, or an intrinsic nature which is not dependent upon anything else. This is what is being described as the universal of the object of negation of reasoning. So that sort of, you have to identify that universal of the object of negation, and then one has to examine how it is that the ignorance within one's own mental continuum, how it is that it exaggerates the existence of things or superimposes upon things this kind of nature, the intrinsic nature that you've already identified as the object of negation. So the sense that, like if you take the I as a base here, and you then say the I existing autonomously or existing by means of its own intrinsic nature would be the object of negation. And you have to then understand how it is, and really carefully think about how it is that one exaggerates or exaggerates the I such that it would have such a intrinsic nature, or rather one could say that how it is that we ourselves superimpose onto the I this sense of autonomy or intrinsic existence. And after carefully thinking about that, then having thought about it in that way, one needs to properly identify it.
Oh, Mariba Ranshin Chita Drotaba Lebang Simba Si Kala, Shan Kalaya, Madi, Shan Kalaya Maldibe, Rawang or Yobadi, Yuji Gacha, Gaya Che. Teda to Zimbi, Ode, Denzindi, Yujan Gacha Che. Oh, tender wedding scene, Tenamadi, Ani Shankalara Malebi, around Ranshin Tender Yuna. Ani da Pumbotan, Jigda Tada Kalaya, Madeba, Kasashiwana, Siri Yuna Jigda Karunga, Madeba Yerdang, Madena, Ani Ranshin Yuna, Ranshin Jigda Karunga, Madeba to the Samni. Then it Jigimbala, Kondo Shabaki, Nishi, Bazukala, Tema, Dama Botawala, Ani Tunzuki Ribatang, Ani or Tada Yimbala, Kondo Shabi Ribatata, Ma, Samni, Kenika Kala, Nishi, you look, Mick Chapachani, and some Gure. Make Dani and make bad, make a sour ton, I see the boy about Chocolate.
The Rikpik Gachi Dang.
Rikpik Gajate, Kanga, Kanga, Nasha Khan, Shankalaya, Ramala, Rawan, Yobati, Rikpik Gacha, Yuji Gacha Che. That would be somebody, Yuji Gacha Che. Yuji Gacha de Gabe. Yujiang Timbala Nishi, Tishan Yukapa, Yujiang Timbala Nishi Trokuari.
So regarding this object of negation of reasoning, this is itself, as we've said, then this idea, this sense of autonomy or intrinsic existence, which one superimposes upon things. And this superimposed autonomy upon the thing is what is the conceived object of the misapprehension of things as being real. The misapprehension of things as being real itself is the subject, which is to be the subjective aspect of or subjective form of the subject form of the object of negation. But first, in order to negate, or in order to stop that misapprehension of things as being real, one first has to establish through reason that the object of negation, the autonomy or intrinsic existence itself, is non-existent. So by establishing the non-existence of the conceived object of the misapprehension that things are real, one will automatically negate the apprehension of things as being real, because the object that it clings to has been negated. So, having that sort of having carefully considered the way in which one superimposes that kind of nature, intrinsic nature, upon objects, then one has to identify it properly. And then one thinks that if such a nature, an intrinsic nature, existed at all, it would necessarily be either unitary or multiple, either unitary, a single thing, or it would have to be multiple. It would have to be either identical or plural. Now, so and then the way in which, as we've described above, that if intrinsic existence exists, then in a general way, then it necessarily has to exist as either a single thing or a multiplicity of things. So, and then that applies, that general principle applies to particular instantiations of intrinsic existence, such as the intrinsic existence of the person. If the person existed intrinsically, it would have to exist intrinsically as either a single thing or as multiple things. And if you take it as being singular, as we said above, then all of the problems that were enumerated above entail, such that the person would be identical with the aggregates, and therefore the person would become multiple, or the aggregates would become a single thing, as we've discussed previously. So we have to think carefully then about how it is if that kind of intrinsic nature, that nature that we superimpose onto things, if it existed, it would have to be either a single thing or plural or multiple things, or it would have to be either identical with the thing that's, it would have to be a single thing or multiple things.
대단 밀체바 삼배 아니 내제 통행 다 라시 유튜브 찍단 타대여나 아니 내제 통 내가 여와 되게 나와창 라시 유튜브 찍단 타대도 아니 여나 내제 여와인다 라시 좀 매비 라시 유튜브 찍단 타대도 매바랑 나와창 그러와 대참배 라시 유튜브 찍단 타대도 매방 내배 탈라原来 라시 지단 도마 가로도 여고 그래 지단 도마 가로도 맨날 매거와 나신 라신지 드베지 tum나 찍다 라신지 드베 찍다 타다 가루도 요거래 라신지 드베 찍다 타다 가루도 매나 아니 라신지 주와 매고 그래 냠도 아니 타를 가사라 라신지 주와 준세장 매도 냠바기 가사데 시엔 칸라야 라 가사라 시엔 칸라야 라말라와데 라와와데 매도 라와와데 마레 마주보 냠도 아니 나와 땜보제 땜보차데
So thus, if the person existed as a single thing which was established by means of its own intrinsic identity, all of these or by means of its own intrinsic nature, then all of those problems would arise. If it existed as such that it was multiple by means of its own intrinsic nature, then the other set of problems would obtain. So if and as was discussed above in the sense of the relationship between the person and the basis of designation of the person, the aggregates, if they existed in those either intrinsically identical or intrinsically separate or different, then all of those various kinds of unresolvable problems would entail. So one has to realize, has to understand that accepting either of those alternatives, first, that those two alternatives, if the person existed was established by means of its own intrinsic nature, it would have to be either identical with the basis, the aggregates, or absolutely separate from the aggregates. That there's no third alternative there. And seeing that having precisely determined the way in which various faults occur when one accepts the person as existing in either of those two ways, or in either of those two ways, then one has to give rise to a clear conviction that sees the problems, the defects in holding either of those positions, sees the way in which both of those positions are refuted. Then finally, at the end of this, by seeing that the person can be neither identical with its basis of designation, nor can it be, if the person was autonomous, it would have to be either identical with its basis of designation, or it would have to be separate from its basis of designation. Then one sees finally that the person finally that the person could not exist in any way that is established by means of its own intrinsic nature. And one has to, thinking that way, one has to stabilize one's certainty upon this point.
Oh yeah, 가서 내가 담보 차대스 동조를 텐자 만도 장 다 동조 아니 균제 라신지 주비 지단 타자 가로도 매비 균제라 때네 라신지 주는 제가 신지 주비 지단 타자 가로도 요거래 라신지 주비 지단 타자 가로도 매비 가사 라신지 매도 양바기 아니 라신지 매바 동조 라신지 매바 텐자 아니 다 사람마버 때네 장고야더라 동조를 텐자 만도 장 So then
one has to, once one develops that firm conviction that if the person existed by means of its own intrinsic nature, it would have to be either identical with its basis of designation, or it would have to be absolutely or intrinsically separate from its basis of designation. And since neither of those alternatives is viable because of all of the unacceptable consequences that would derive from either of those positions, Therefore, you ascertain clearly that the person cannot exist at all. The person is completely non-existent, has not even the slightest existence, which is established by means of its own intrinsic nature. So such a person is completely non-existent. And an intrinsically existing person is completely non-existent. And once one has stabilized one's certainty about that, then one needs to repeatedly cultivate the emptiness side of this in that way. One has to do this repeatedly, such that with respect to that that ascertainment of the non-existence of an intrinsically existing person.
단이와 동바 마셔봐 텐드라에 동바대 마셔봐 아니 가사 셰비 주마 쳐주니 되네다 여기 가사랑 심해 봤다라 팝이 됐다라 팝아 되네 아니 가사랑 심해 봤다라 팝이 제 가사랑 시지 주와 까바래디 까장 아니 가사 마가봐 가사 생각이 마기바 류와 인장 되네 가사기 타냐 예민이바 나와남 아니 가사세 타냐 칸라 주비 시 아니 로유도 차트 주네 예민이바 나와남 나위 가사디 로유도 차트 주라 되네 아니 가소래 또 되네 텐데비 가사 티리 아니 가사 티 레소바보다 더 중요하죠 동주 말이지 그루지 단단하라 가소래 따질래 소하나 신샤임 대래 레소바 보당 대우 영화보 조비 땡디지 초남 아니 일라 차신 라시지 매발라 라시지 매장 아니 민게 따삼 샤잠 민장잠디 아니 가소래 땡디 민장자지 땡디 텔루 남라 아니 나와 예바차고래
디 강석이 시디 강석이 타니 도비
가사 간세
강사 타니
가사 되네 가사기 타니에 예 미니바 나와 남스 가르라서 저 양가래
디 강사
근데 여기 가사 라신지 주와 까지 양아 가사 라신지 주와 까바래야 돼 가사 마가바 가사 리와라 봐我听到旅外人在听那卡萨基他那的你明白吧？俺那让了那完那，俺那两个旅都吃得住，是吧？呀，俺那对不对
？So then the second part of this is without forgetting the emptiness that one has ascertained, the person being empty of having intrinsic existence. One then follows the way in which the person appears as like a magical illusion. So the person is appearing here, but is appearing as similar to a magical illusion. So in the course of this first portion, one has completely negated the object of negation, an intrinsically existing person. And the person, so an intrinsically existing person has been entirely negated, such that it is been established as being non-existent. Nevertheless, that doesn't entail that the person is non-existent. The person is, as such, exists. So without forgetting that emptiness that one's established already, the absence of an intrinsically existing person, one then engages oneself in taking the 강석이탄이 뉴민뉴빠 나오나? 강석이탄이
예 미니바 가사기 타냐 예 미니바 나와 남 시가 다 가소리 라시지 주와 까비 슈도도 가사데 크면거 봐 아니 또배 심에도 답에 또다 민점 잠시 아니 가사가 나와지 요와 봐 나와 어디 나와디 다 유도 차라 유도 차주라 유도 차주라
So nevertheless, the convention of the person, the convention of a person, which is a mere conceptually designated by thought, a mere conceptual designation, which is a mere name. Is merely designated by name. The convention of the person is simply designated using a name. These, without question, appear. These things all appear to us without, one cannot doubt that these appear to us, and one causes oneself to have these appearances of the convention of the person to appear as the object of one's awareness, as one, a mental object.
Oh, 민장 다 텐더에 또배 심에도 자외 또다 민점 점진 아치 로유도 차트 주네. 텐더에 아테 스테세데. 대 아니 레소바보다 저우녀바버 조비 아니 땡들기 쳐라 텐더 민점제기 아니 차와치 대체봐 땡들기 땡들기 쳐라 아니 땡들기 쳐는 일라 차신 아니 민점제기 아니 타냐지 차와치니디 천니부 땡들 일라 차와
민점
민점 다점진 아셔와라 아디 아니 딜레 가소레 레소보보다 저우녀와를 조비 아니 땡들지 쳐는 일라 차신 타냐도 아니 차와치니 아점티
민점
민점 다점진 아지 레소보보다 저우녀와보
So then this I, which is a mere name, which is merely designated, this I, which we cannot doubt, appears. This person, these conventions of a person, undoubtedly are appearing. So one causes these appearances to become the objects of one's cognition, of one's awareness, and one also then, having done that, one also forms the judgment. That is, or one forms the judgment that this I, which is a mere name, which is a mere designation, is able to operate within the context of all of the dependent originations. Of dependent origination, which establishes this mere I, this I, which is a mere designation, a mere name, as the creator of or accumulator of karma, and the experiencer of the results of the karma.
Oh, rashi mebala, right? Tendrave ngadamde rashi mebala, ani. Then tell you, less about the Joe Nova Bodang. And it's a donor of a Chawachini, Annie, then tell you, I mean, never Chow.
Oh, so one fixes this in one's mind, takes as one's object that this I, which is a mere name, which is merely designated, operates as the creator of karma, the experiencer of the results of karma, in the when one is within the context of dependent origination. And then having that established in one's mind, one should obtain certainty, or in that manner, one should obtain certainty with respect to the ways in which that dependent origination is demonstrable with respect to absence of intrinsic existence.
Oh yeah, that is why. That is la. Now don't go on Nancy, Melon Gisunia Bekeso. That now don't go on Nancy, say Kana, non show. Any Kasala Soa. Ani kasoro le soba boda chawa Chinese jodi zamba ani rasin ji domba jom tu ba ani rasin ji domba jodi zamba le soba boda debu nyama boso ani jom ne ba da wo ma na shi chene so o te mu ju ba te sung gua yin je na dong ga wan na yu che ani ta ti be la Sunya se pela na minga yu su samde. Ta nang dong gao yuwa ma rang xin ji dong jiang. Ani tanya zamdu cha che cha chogu re. Rang xin ji dong yang tanya zamdu le so wa de wu nyo wa jo chogu re. Be na sunya che xin ji dong jiang ani sunya ge chaba chi ji. Sunya che xin ge dong jiang sunya ge chaba chi ni. Ro me ro na ge che xin ge sunya那完了，切心个数年，切心个当家，提数年个吃吧吃个多哈是，是吧？我看啥了说吧，让心去当家，俺那来说不的周娘我把那所谓吃吧吃个的，是，大体数年级的，是吧？数年的别让人民个为出生的，第二人，数年没那说那完那么去当家，吃他没了，他这个么的这些上去是吧？他就得这个的。第三数年，第三切心去数年，打切心没当那我说去看到那去当讲，切当没弄来等来接我当，切心的切当没弄错把了等呢，俺的切心个数年那位落的接我的，今天他切当没弄你我看到去老板在那，俺的看说的老百姓就就把你没那把去做事，今天到老百姓总要切心个当把，那我这样老把你没那把提醒图是，我说，但提醒图看啥让心去当把那我当，那样让心去当把，来说我不得我让我教把，得送回去我心图是，得送图。看啥了呀？让些主要都是没来讲，来说话不打，周娘啊不多，我就来年说了，等来结吧，明个咯，你们都讲话小苦的是，
So this then leads to an explanation of how to resolve when one is in a state when one isn't able to establish both the appearance of the thing and the emptiness of the thing in such a way that that they're not contradictory. So in this situation, when one is thinking, well, when things appear. They appear, and we can see that for example, a person engages in activities, and we observe this appearance of them performing activities and experiencing the results of their actions, but we can't see how that sort of appearance can arise when the person is empty of intrinsic existence, Or on the other hand, if one has engaging in the reasoning which establishes the absence of intrinsic existence of a person, one is not able, having established that absence of intrinsic existence, one isn't able to establish that the person is someone who creates karma and experiences the result of the karma. So these, when it appears to one that these two things, appearing and being empty, appearing as having intrinsic existence and being empty of intrinsic existence, are contradictory, then one should employ the example of the reflected image of a face inside of a mirror, within a mirror. So then the text here explains that when these two appear contradictory, that is, when the absence of intrinsic existence of a person and the ability of the person to the empty side of it, being the person being empty of intrinsic existence, and the appearance side, which is the unquestionable, or the obvious and unquestionable appearance of the person as the actor who creates karma, who experiences results. When these two appear to be contradictory, then one should employ the example of of things being like reflections, etc., in order to think about the way in which they are not contradictory. And then the way this is done is provided below. It says like this: the reflected image of a face, when it appears, these reflected images of faces, a reflected image of a face, these are empty of being the eye, the ear, and the nose, etc., that the image appears as. However, in dependence upon the face and the mirror, these reflections arise. And then when when one of these conditions has been removed, the reflection disintegrates. So both the appearance of the reflection and the disappearance of the reflection, the appearance of the reflection in dependence upon the face, the mirror, and the conditions that produce the reflection, that's undeniable. And that appearance is clearly empty of the actual face that it appears as. And then, likewise, when any of the conditions that give rise to the reflection is removed, the reflection disintegrates, disappears. These two things are unquestionable, and they're combined in a single locus. That is, both the appearance of the reflection and the appearance of the reflection due to the conditions that give rise to it, even though it is empty of the actual face that it appears as, and the disintegration or disappearance of the reflection when any of its conditions disappear, are gone, then these two are combined within a single locus. Similarly, just like that, with respect to a person, even though the person is devoid of even a single atom of being established by means of its own intrinsic nature, it's not contradictory for it to arise in dependence upon, to arise in dependence such that it is able to create karma, to amass karma, and to experience. I'm sorry, I mistranslated. La di lenyen sok la dene.
Lenyen so la dene jiao mingalo. Le so ba bo da zhou nyong bo da, wonji lenyen so la jiao mingalo skasa.
So the person then arises in dependence upon its former karma, mental afflictions, and so forth, as the experience, the creator of karma and the experiencer of the results of karma, even though it's the person has not even a single atom which is established by means of its own intrinsic identity. So one should train oneself by thinking in that way, that the person, there's no contradiction between the person being empty of having intrinsic existence and still arising due to the causes and conditions of karma and mental afflictions, former karma and mental afflictions that give rise to it, and then being able to operate as the agent that creates actions and experiences the results of actions. So one should train oneself in that way.
that 장화 차대 되다 보니 dinda 탐제지 가수 아니 시와 차오 세가다 따와때라 저 칸다기 칸다 칸게된데 따와때라 바기 있나야 다다 din나시 전에 아니 시와 차 송가 말에.
So this way of doing it, as it's been explained here, is to be understood and applied in the context of all the other occasions when this sort of thing is being presented.
Oh yeah, that the enjegi kansa dame tenla baba de simple chaware da. Yeah, that
So this concludes then the presentation of the establishment, the presentation of establishing the selflessness of the person, and then the next section is the establishment of the absence of self of phenomena, and we'll stop for there today.